All right, let's dive into the story of the man behind the world's largest luxury empire. He's a figure of immense power who often operates just out of the spotlight, Bernard Arnault.
So if I asked you to name the world's richest person, you'd probably say Musk, right? Or maybe Bezos. But a lot of the time, the real answer is this guy. And yet, unlike those tech titans, he's not exactly a household name. He's a man of mystery, and as you're about to see, that is absolutely by design.
And what a mystery it is. I mean, look at this number. In 2024, his net worth was clocked at a staggering $233 billion. And this isn't some flash in the pan. He's been a fixture in the top 10 of the Forbes rich list for 28 years straight. His strategy? It's kind of simple. Sell things that only the super rich can afford.
You know, in the boardrooms of Paris and New York, he's not just known as a brilliant businessman, he's called the Terminator. So why that nickname? Well, it's because of his uncanny and frankly ruthless ability to completely eradicate anyone who gets in his way.
So how did he become this formidable figure? Well, it didn't start in luxury at all. His story actually begins in a completely different world.
Arnault's journey started in his family's construction business. As you can see, he had a top-tier engineering degree and joined the family firm in '71. But he wasn't content to just build buildings. He showed his ambition really early on, convincing his own father to sell the construction side of things and pivot into the riskier world of real estate. Then in 1981, he moved to the USA, partly to get away from new socialist policies in France, and that move, well, it would change everything.
The story goes like this. Not long after moving to the US, he hopped in a cab in New York. He starts chatting with the driver and asks him if he knows who the French president is. The driver says, nope, but then adds that he does know another French name, Christian Dior.
And that was it. That was the light bulb moment. It just clicked. See, this wasn't just some random brand name. It connected directly to his own mother's love for Dior perfume. The taxi driver's comment showed him the incredible global power that a luxury brand could hold, a power maybe even bigger than a politician's. For Arnault, a new path was set right then and there.
And that path led him to one of the most audacious corporate raids in history. This is where he really truly earned his reputation. So let's break down the legendary takeover of LVMH.
Now, to get what happens next, you have to understand that LVMH was not a happy family. Not at all. It was a fragile merger, and its two leaders, the head of Louis Vuitton and the head of Moet Hennessy, were locked in this bitter power struggle. The company was just simmering with conflict, and for a guy like Arnault, that chaos was an opportunity.
Arnault saw this mess and just played it like a chess master. Okay, step one, he gets invited in by the head of Louis Vuitton to be his muscle. He's an ally, but then comes the betrayal step two. Arnault secretly flips sides and forms an alliance with his target's rival, Moet Hennessy, and the beverage giant Guinness. Step three, this new trio starts gobbling up shares, a 24.5% stake for $1.5 billion. His original ally tries to fight back, but in step four, Arnault just outspends and outmaneuvers him, seizing total control by 1989. The heist was complete.
I mean, it was such a masterful, ruthless display of corporate warfare that people literally compared it to the show Breaking Bad. You've got these two feuding kingpins, right? And then in comes Arnault, like the Walter White character, this brilliant outsider who plays everyone against each other to take the entire empire for himself. It was absolutely genius.
But the Terminator wasn't invincible. After conquering LVMH, he set his sights on the ultimate prize in French luxury, the fiercely independent family-run house of Hermès, and this time he was about to meet his match.
So how did he attack? In secret. Using this whole web of subsidiaries and complicated financial tools, LVMH quietly built up a massive stake in Hermès without anyone noticing. Then, in 2010, he calls the CEO of Hermès and just coolly announces that he's going to reveal his 14.2% ownership to the world in 2 hours. The market was completely stunned.
But the Hermès family didn't just roll over. They fought back, and they fought back hard. So in 2010, LVMH drops the bombshell. A year later, the family creates this defensive holding company, basically locking up their shares to block him. By 2012, the fight spills into the courts. Hermès files a criminal complaint, and LVMH immediately countersues. Finally, in 2013, a French court steps in and rules against LVMH. The war was at its peak.
And just look at how vicious this fight got. We're not talking about polite disagreements. On one side, you have LVMH accusing Hermès of blackmail and slander.
On the other, Hermes is firing back with accusations of insider trading and stock manipulation. I mean, this was the nuclear option in the corporate world. The gloves were completely off.
And in the end, for the first time in a major battle, Bernard Arnault lost. The French courts found that LVMH had acted improperly with the way they secretly bought those shares. The company got fined millions, and this is the big one, was forced to sell its stake. The fortress of Hermes held.
After the sting of that defeat, you might think Arnault would retreat. Nope. Instead, he turned inward and pulled off what might be his most brilliant strategic move yet, a move to solidify his empire for generations.
And this next move, it brought everything full circle. It all came back to that one brand that started it all, the name that taxi driver in New York knew so well, Christian Dior.
In 2017, LVMH announced it was going to acquire the Christian Dior brand for an unbelievable $13.1 billion. But here's the twist. Who were they buying it from? Well, they were buying it from a private holding company controlled by Bernard Arnault himself.
This was the masterstroke. It was his checkmate move. See, by selling the jewel he personally owned to the public company he already controlled, he cashed out big time while also cementing his family's control over the entire unified empire. He brought his first love, Dior, fully inside the fortress of LVMH.
Think about it. He took a construction company, a bankrupt textile firm, and a feuding partnership, and he forged them into the most powerful luxury group on the planet. He has won almost every single battle he's ever fought. So the question we're all left with is, what on earth does the Terminator do next?